Right, so I am going to show you really basic sourdough and how to make it. Now this is without any fancy equipment, and it's really just for complete amateurs like me. So just a simple recipe just to show you how to get a beautiful loaf of sourdough without spending lots of time and lots of money. So all you need is some filtered water, your choice of flour, just regular all-purpose flour. I like the organic ones, but I mean, if that's too expensive, just go for plain all-purpose flour. Some salt, and then your starter. Now, I'm not gonna do a video on starters yet, so it's up to you to find a starter or to make one. Lots of recipes and videos online, but it is, yeah, just something pretty easy to make as well. So, right, let's get started. Okay, so this is not a professional video and I'm not a professional chef, so bear with me. So what we're gonna do is just start by what would you normally, I guess, would do with yeast, but we're just doing with our sourdough starter. So about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of the bubbly, active, happy starter. And just put that in a great big bowl. And then we're gonna add 1.5 cups of water, preferably filtered water, just because that's what I heard once and that's what we're gonna do. So 1.5 cups. Hopefully you can see this because I don't actually know what I'm doing. 1.5 cups. And then we're gonna put 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're just gonna stir that up, mix it together really well. So it's all mixed up nicely. And that's that. Now, I'm gonna add, probably could mix it up a little bit better, but it's not gonna be a big issue. Now I'm gonna add 3.5 cups of my flour. Now again, this is just really basic. You can add whole wheat and stuff too if you want, or do different flours, but let's just start with making a basic loaf, okay? Let's not get too complicated now. All right, so 1, 2, this is real amateur, I'm telling you. And 3 and about 1/2. Sometimes I'd add about I'd replace about 1 cup with the whole wheat flour. And we just, a little bit of starter on that, no big deal. Just gonna mix this up, give it a stir. Now if it's too wet, we can add a little bit more flour. If it's too dry, we can add a bit more water. Keep it simple. No need to get silly. All right, so once it's starting to come together a little bit, we're gonna start using our hands and just bring it together. Just squeeze it and roll it around. That's my kneading tutorial. That's how I do it, just squeeze it. Don't know if this is how I saw my mom do it or what, but this is how I do it. Just for this part anyway, just to incorporate it a little bit. Once it's coming together a little bit, it's gonna be a little bit sticky. Shouldn't be too sticky, but a little bit sticky. It's still a bit sticky there. All right, sticky, sticky. I'm just gonna leave it now for about 30 minutes. Okay, so now that we've had about half an hour for the dough to do its thing, that's the scientific terminology, by the way, we are just going to give it a nice knead. So pull it out, a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick. And I don't have any master technique for kneading other than just push it down, fold it over, push and fold, fold, push. When it gets sticky, you just add more flour, fold and turn it around. There's probably other techniques out there that are much more skilled, but this works. And what else do we care as long as it works? So I'm just gonna keep kneading. Until it's just coming together and it's all nice and smooth. Amateur. And just, yeah, until the lumps are gone. This mat is being kind of annoying, isn't it? That's all right, that's life. So you don't have to do that very long, just until you've got a nice smooth ball. You can do it for as long as you like, but that's essentially what you want to end up with. It's a nice smooth ball like that. And then I'm gonna put some more flour into my bowl. And I'm gonna put it in here to rest and to rise for, this is the kicker, 8 to 10 hours. So you can either do this first thing in the morning or you can do it last thing at night. But the key to sourdough is that it is a long rise, which for many people makes it easier to digest, which is why a lot of people can eat sourdough and struggle with other kinds of gluten breads. So we're just going to cover it up. And we're going to leave it for 8 to 10 hours. All right, so as you can see, the dough has about doubled in size. It's been about 8 hours. And so what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna take it out of the bowl. And, ooh, gonna put a little bit of flour on our mat. And we're just gonna knead it for hardly any time at all, like less than a minute. Just to beat it down, for lack of a better term. Just gonna beat it down back into that ball shape that it was before it rose. And that's it. So you've got a nice little ball like this. Now, I'm using a fancy bread proving basket. You can get them on Trade Me in different places, but you don't need one of these. Another thing you can do is just take a bowl and put a dish towel, a tea towel with a bit of flour on it in the bowl, and that will work just as well. So up to you. So just put our dough in there with the smooth side down. And then we're gonna let that sit for another another hour to an hour and a half. Okay, so I have heated the oven to 250 degrees. And in the oven, I've put my cast iron casserole. So I'm gonna get it out really quickly. And basically what we're going to do is put our dough that's been proving into the cast iron. So it's pretty hot. Take that out. Then we're gonna turn our oven down to 210. And we've got a hot casserole. You can use, this is like a camping oven. You can use Dutch oven, casserole, one of those flash, like cruciate ones if you like. Any of them will work. I like the cast iron, seems to do the job. Now we've got our dough over here, which has been proving for about an hour and a half. Actually about an hour, because it's quite warm today. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip it over into some baking paper. Ooh, burn my arm. How was that? All right, so there we go, flipped it over. And then I'm gonna put this into the cast iron. And now we're gonna score it. So that's just putting some quick little slices into it so that when it expands nicely, I guess. I'm gonna put just 4, I like using my Empowered Eating logo design in there. And go with it quick, and there we go. All right, so that is now going to go back into the oven at 210 for 30 minutes. Okay, so I did forget to say that you need to put the lid on the casserole before you stick it in the oven. So what we're doing now is we're just going to quickly open up the oven and take the lid off. Ooh. Now we're going to turn this to 180 and we're going to let it cook for another 10 to 15 minutes and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. I checked on it and it wasn't quite where I wanted it the first time. So now it's done. So minimal kneading and you've got a lovely loaf of sourdough.